My first job at Microsoft was to oversee the product marketing for our applications business. I left Apple in 1981, November of 81, primarily because the thing that I really loved was software. And what I learned by working at Apple, very fine company, but they are about the hardware devices. And software, certainly then, and I think maybe even still today, was primarily about how you sold more devices, as opposed to a business in of itself. And so for me, it was a lot more comfortable being in a software business. And so I came as Microsoft was trying to start up an applications business. I suspect many of you in the audience might, if I asked you the question of what is Microsoft's, what was Microsoft's first spreadsheet, you might think Excel was our first spreadsheet. But in fact, we had a product called Multiplan. And that was my job. My job was to be the Multiplan product manager. I want to tell you a little bit about our strategy. We thought we had a brilliant strategy to succeed with Multiplan. We had designed some technology that actually used, for you computer science folks, used P-code technology that allowed Multiplan to be written in C and then run on lots of different computing platforms. So, in fact, Multiplan ran on a TI-99 4A home computer, the Apple II, CPM-80 systems, MS-DOS systems, CPM-86 systems. It ran on the Siemens 32016, a microprocessor that is also a footnote in history. It ran on an Apple III, another footnote in history. It ran on the Xenix-based PDP-11 mini computers. That was our strategy. Our strategy was to be able to have our applications products run on all of those computing platforms. Because at that time, there were literally hundreds of different personal computers. And on January 20th, 1983, I realized, I think Bill Gates also realized, we had the wrong strategy. Any guess as to what happened on January 20th, 1983? Lotus. It was the shipment of Lotus 123. How many personal computers did Lotus run on in January of 1983? One and exactly one. And it was a big winner. So what we learned was, when it came to customer behavior, it wasn't whether you had a product that ran on all of those computing platforms. What really mattered to the customer was, did you have the best application product on the computer that they own? And Lotus 123 was the best spreadsheet. In fact, it was the beginning of a quote-unquote formula for success in applications that I defined around that time, called to win big, you have to make the right bet on the winning platform. And for us, we saw that the IBM PC was going to be the winning platform. That Lotus 123, which really advanced the state of the art in spreadsheets, was the right bet. And they made the right bet on the winning platform, and they won big. Lotus was not only a bigger application software company in its first year than Microsoft Applications, it was the biggest application software. It was bigger as a software company than all of Microsoft by a wide factor. They went basically from 0 to 150 million in just a few months. And so on February 1st, 1983, so what's that? Only about 10 days later, we evolved our strategy. Microsoft Word started up. We started the project on February 1st, 1983, so just less than 2 weeks after the introduction of Lotus 123. And Microsoft Word on the PC was designed to specifically take advantage of the IBM PC architecture. To do superscript, subscript, fonts, laser printing. We really shifted our strategy, and a year later we completed the shift. We decided that the winning platform was going to be the graphic user interface. And so even though, a little known fact, Excel was designed for the IBM PC initially, we decided to shift it to Macintosh and graphic user interface because we decided we had to focus our efforts on what we thought would be the winning platform, graphic user interface, and of course in 1984 on 85, the best incarnation of the graphic user interface by far was the Apple Macintosh. So what's the principle? The principle is agility. If you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, what you have to do is you have to learn. You have to respond. You have to learn some more. You have to respond some more. And that kind of agility is very important. If we had stayed on our old strategy, we would not be in the applications business today. In fact, one of the great ironies of that whole episode is that in the late 80s, early 90s, our competitors, WordPerfect, Lotus, what they really should have been doing was betting on Windows. But instead, they were betting on, and WordPerfect was the best example, betting on putting WordPerfect on the mainframe, on mini computers. In fact, they went to the lowest common denominator software strategy, which we switched out of in the 1983 timeframe. So, but my key principle is make sure that you learn and respond. Show that kind of agility.